And so on behalf of Proud Depressors, I would like to welcome everyone to this, which is our 15th monthly session. And so this program actually started during the COVID pandemic, which struck us in 2020. And today's topic is My Tryst with Depression Life Experiences, which will be by Mr. Ishan Pradeep. And our expert today, our mental health professional today, is going to be Dr. Rajni Parthasarathy. And so let me just introduce both our speakers before handing the floor over to Mr. Ishan Pradeep. Mr. Ishan Pradeep did his civil engineering from National Institute of Technology, Allahabad, way back in 1979. He worked in the Indo-Tibetan Border Police in the engineering department before finally retiring as the Deputy Inspector General, DIG Engineering, in 2016. And he has served in all the difficult terrain, Ladakh, Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal, and Uttarakhand. He's carried out different engineering tasks in these areas, and for his services, he has been awarded the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service, as well as the President Police Medal for Meritorious Service. He has also received the UN Medal for Service of Peace for serving in Kosovo for the UN Peacekeeping Force. Now, the ITBP guards the entire Indo-China border, which is all mountainous and hilly terrain. So he's done complex engineering works in those areas. Apart from that, Mr. Ishan Pradeep has also represented the force in International Desert Himalayan Car Rally twice, and continuously he represented the force in All India Police Tennis tournaments for 5 years. Like a lot of other people, he has also suffered from bouts of depression and anxiety. And despite that, he has been rendering all his services to the best of his abilities. And it is only when people of this ability and this level of achievement, they are now freely talking about their struggles with mental health, that the focus is on this. So we thank you very much, sir, for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing from you. And our mental health expert today is Dr. Rajni Parthasarathy, who has been with us before also and had a very, very enlightening session. She currently serves as Deputy Director of Mental Health in the Directorate of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Karnataka, wherein she is taking care of the mental health programs all across the state of Karnataka, and she has done a lot of work in this area during the COVID pandemic also. Prior to this, she was associated with the Karnataka Health Department as a psychiatrist, working in various government hospitals, treating people with psychiatric disorders. From August 2004 to December 2010, she was deputed to the Central Prison Hospital, wherein she was the only psychiatrist, and in Bangalore, she treated prisoners with mental health problems, substance abuse problems, and general physical problems. She has been trained at the reputed CMC Vellore, and she has done DPM, which is Diploma in Psychiatry there. She has worked as a research associate in NIMHANS and done a genetic studies project on schizophrenia. She has been an RA, a research associate, on a drug trial project, and she has been doing her MBBS at Bellore in Karnataka. So she has been a very active researcher and has been an editor of two books: Mind Imprisoned, Mental Health Care in Prisons, and Mental Health and Substance Abuse Problems in Prisons, Local Lessons for National Action. She has taken up training of various medical officers, paramedical workers, nurses, pharmacists, ASHA workers, Ayush doctors, faith healers, elected representatives, police and prison staff on early identification of mental illnesses. So catching them early, that is a very important buzzword. And she firmly believes that mental health problems can affect anybody in their life, irrespective of social status, economic status, education, power and position, and there is a proven solution in all these cases. So thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you. We have a lot of our former speakers or people who have shared their experiences previously. Dr. Smita Nayak is here. Dr. Bikramjit Dey is here. Mr. Joy Talukdar is there. Monica Singh Madam is there. And these are all people who are from different fields, academia, government service, etc. And Rama ma'am is here. So who have had various achievements in their fields and have spoken about their struggles. So I think these kind of views that we are getting on the channel, this all is a testimony to the fact that people when they talk about their problems, this is definitely going to have a ripple effect. And this is the first time that we have actually delayed our session, and this has enabled people across time zones to join. So that is why Mr. Talukdar is here all the way from Queensland in Australia. So wherein it must be late in the night. So that's how we worked out this time zone. Europeans can also join and Australians can also join. So so that is the reason, and the rationale for all of this has been worked out by Dr. Lisa Pathak, who painstakingly coordinates all our events. Sejal ma'am is here. She provides the IT support for all our programs. So thank you very much, ma'am. And Archana ma'am, even though she is not here, she is the brains behind this entire movement. So while we will miss her today because of various preoccupations, we do hope to be joined by her very soon. So I think without wasting any more time, I would like to invite you, sir. Please take the floor and please share your experiences with us in whichever manner you wish to. Mr. Ishant Pradeep, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am feeling honored to be speaking on this platform today. First of all, let me start with the salutation to all those brave ladies who are fighting with this and brave enough to come out and speak about their experiences, which is going to help many who are suffering from this disease or illness, not disease but illness. And I salute Archana ma'am also for giving this platform where all of us can share our experiences. So my audio is clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. I am worried about that only.
No, please go ahead, sir.
As I said earlier to Dr. Parikshit, I am not going to speak about depression as an illness because there are many prominent persons who have spoken about it in the previous sessions. So I will restrict my talks with my own experiences with depression. I saw it happening in my years and years one. So what I felt, what I did, how I helped them to tackle it. So I will be restricting my talks only on my experiences. So I think I will start from my childhood. So because I feel that childhood shapes up the future of any child. The bringing up and the circumstances they go through decide a lot about the attitude of a person. So I will be covering a span of 70 years. I was talking to Dr. Lisa that maybe 20 minutes may not be enough, but she said that 100-year span experience can be shared in 20 minutes. So let us see if she.
Sir, we are not going to measure the time very, very closely. So you please go ahead. Absolutely fine.
I
So
think it
please,
should be over
yes.
in 20 minutes. So I will start from my childhood. Actually, my father was a very self-made person from a very poor family, from a very small village of UP. And his village at that time had a school of up to class 5 only. So he studied there up to class 5, then went to another small town which was quite far away from that village, and stayed there with a distant relative and studied up to class 10 there, then shifted to another town where he did his 12th. Then for BSc he shifted to Dehradun, everywhere staying with someone. because he did not have enough money to stay in boarding or something. And after that, he qualified for Roorkee Engineering College, which is now IIT Roorkee. He qualified as a civil engineer, and soon after that, he got a job in UP government in irrigation department. My maternal grandfather, who was an army person, was looking for a groom for his eldest daughter. Somehow he came to know about my father. He met him and instantly decided that he will be the right person for his eldest daughter, who was a firebrand and a stubborn person. So I think his decision was right, and thus two very different persons got married. And for the credit of my mother, the first thing she did was she took his family as her own family, more than her family. She will spend a lot of time in his village, and she will talk to everyone in the village. And this floored my father completely. And after that, he was in total control of my mother. Uh, about my mother, as far as I remember, uh, she was a very dominating person, a very stubborn person, and with lot of energy. While my father was a laid back kind of person, he had interest in so many things like dramatics, music, sports, and her interests were only in socializing, maybe, and lot of religious rituals. So they were very different. And when we came into the life, me and my siblings, we remember that every decision was hers. She will decide what to eat, what we should study, what should be our friend circle. Everything was her decision. So it made me, not only me but my siblings also, very, kind of docile persons, and a kind of nervous. We were underconfident. What I think about me now when I look back. So it was because of that. She had decided that I should study and become a civil engineer. I wanted to be a doctor because I had a lot of interest in biology that time. I used to seek it into the biology labs and used to see the dissections of crops and all that. But at the end, I had to follow the decision of my mother. She said that I'm going to support you only if you become a civil engineer. Otherwise, you are on your own. So, in spite of such a strict upbringing, I don't have any bitter memory of my childhood. It was okay like any other child, except that we were very docile that time. Though I had few friends, I made some friends also, but I could not do anything which I liked. Thus, I came into class 12, and even actually he was posted in very small places initially. So my maternal grandfather wanted that I should be put in some good school in boarding, but she refused. She said that it does not matter. We should study wherever we are posted. So I went in very small schools which did not have proper infrastructure, which did not have proper staff, but it was okay. I was an average student, uh, not a back bencher or front bencher, but just average. But I don't know why my mother had an expectation that after 12 I will qualify for IIT in the first attempt, which did not happen. And she became very nasty, saying all the time taunting me and being very critical, very sarcastic remarks. So that one year from class 12 till I qualified to an engineering college was a tough period for me. But somehow I did not know about depression or stress or something, so it was okay. In second attempt, I got into NIT Allahabad. She was not happy. Uh, she wanted me to try for one more time, but I wanted to get away from my home, and somehow, first time in life, I could convince her, and thus I broke free from her way and went to Allahabad. And after that, it was a total different life for me. I totally involved myself in sports. Every sport I tried to play, cricket, tennis, squash, athletics, because she was not there to stop me. So much so that if whenever any guest of mine came to the hostel to meet me, people, people will tell him that go to the sports ground. Even if it is the night time, they will send him in the at the sports ground. So that much was my involvement in the sports. And when I passed out, luckily I did well in the academics also. When I passed out, I saw this advertisement of ITBP, which was offering lot of opportunities in adventure, in sport. So without asking anyone, I filled the application. I got selected and joined ITBP in 1983, and my first posting was at Kullu. Though she was not happy about my decision, saying that I did not send you to do engineering so that you join a police department. You should have joined the irrigation department in which your father was working. But by that time, I had learned to defy her, and I enjoyed the life of ITBP. So much adventure. I, I did everything from rock climbing, trekking, mountaineering, judo karate. So I was enjoying my life. Then a break come in my life when my sister called me and said that our father is not well. I said, what happened? She said, no, he is sleeping all the time, and whenever he is awake, he is saying very irrelevant things. I was worried. I immediately rushed to the place where he was posted. He was in Banaras that time. So I reached there, and I was shocked to see him. He was like a zombie, just sleeping, not eating, and my mother was calling those quacks, jhad phunk wale, and that was more shocking that instead of taking him to doctor, she is calling those quacks. I took him to the medical college Banaras, and the thing doctor told me was more shocking. They diagnosed him as to be having schizophrenia, and they said that probably he will not be able to serve anymore. And that was a big shock for me because we were six siblings and none of us were married, and all of us were, I mean, all remaining siblings were studying. And my first thought was how we are going to survive because salaries those days were very small, and I was thinking that how I can help them. Uh, and doctor started the medicine for schizophrenia, but his condition did not improve for next 2 months. Same thing all the time, sleeping, not going to office, and not eating anything. All the time saying that I have written a book which has been launched by President of India, things like that, which was more traumatizing and disturbing. Seeing someone saying things like that. So I took him to Delhi to AIMS to consult a psychiatrist. I still remember her name, Dr. Birmani was her name. And she said, no, it's not schizophrenia, it is just anxiety disorder and some depression because of uh, suffering from stress for a long time. Maybe because it
Sir,
is
may
not.
I just interrupt for 1 minute? Can I just request you to be a little louder? Because I can hear you, but maybe some others cannot. And maybe, if you can just move a little closer to the laptop or computer
Okay,
and also
okay,
be
I
a
will
little
try
louder,
that.
sir.
But
Yeah,
since
please.
you are saying that audio is clear, so
No, no,
uh,
now it is a lot
I
better.
think I am speaking from the top of my voice.
Oh, it's absolutely fine, sir.
Okay?
I don't mean to ask you to stress too much, but
Uh,
just in the interest of a little better clarity. That's all.
yeah.
Please
So
continue, sir.
anyone
Sorry.
having problem with my audio?
No, no, it's
Okay.
all good, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Okay. So she
Yes,
changed
sir.
the medicine, and I still remember it was Prothedine 75, though it was 40 years back. And after a month or so, he started feeling little
Sir,
better,
your voice is
and
breaking.
his condition improved up to an extent that he could start going to the office. That was a big relief for all of us. He continued with that medicine, though he could not be his normal self. I mean, still having bouts of anxiety from time to time, but at least he was able to continue with his job. And thus, during next 10 years, uh, he was able to uh, marry off four of us, and then four of us could, I mean, remaining three could finish their studies also, just two were remaining. But it had put lot of stress in me. All the time I was thinking, what if there is another relapse? He used to come to stay with me. There also I was all the time observing him whether he's all right or showing some signs of depression. But life continued like that. But stress was there in me because of his condition. Uh, then one day uh, I had some argument with my boss, and suddenly I had a panic attack. Uh, I felt that I have lost sensation in my hands. I was perspiring. There were palpitations, and I knew that it is something to do with depression. I immediately rushed to a psychiatrist. At that time, I was posted in Bareilly, so there were lot many psychiatrists there, and they put me on drugs, and again the drug was same Prothedine 75. I started with it. I knew that it takes time to respond, brain takes time to respond to the medicine. So I waited for 1 month, but there was not significant improvement. I again went to the doctor. He changed the medicine to sertraline. Again, I continued with it for 2 months, but again things were not improving. So it went on for next 6 months. They were changing medicine. I knew that it is hit and try. Some medicine works, some don't work. But some improvement was there, but not much. So after 6 months, I just stopped the medicines on my own, and I started feeling little better. In the meantime, I was transferred to Shimla, and just after reaching there, there was a miraculous change in my mental condition. I I started feeling absolutely normal. So I thought maybe change of place worked for me. I stopped medicines and I was all right. So next 4 years I was completely all right, enjoying my time in Shimla. Then my wife had a very serious accident while she was going from our place to Shimla market. She had an head-on collision with a bus, and people took her to the hospital. She was looking all right, but her pulse and BP was going down and down. Uh, Soon doctors realized that there is something very serious. They went for MRI, and it was learned that her whole inside stomach was full of blood. So they decided to go for immediate surgery. When they opened up her stomach, it was full of blood, and they came to know that liver had ruptured from three places. So they told me that her survival is very difficult, but they will try their best. Somehow she had a very strong willpower, and she survived just because of that. It took 6 months to get all right, but she survived it. And surprisingly, even such a serious circumstances or situation did not put much stress in me. So it was just a mental condition I was in, that I was able to take that situation and handle that situation. After 6 months, when she was okay, I was transferred to Dehradun. When we reached Dehradun, suddenly she started having a very severe pain in her stomach. I thought that everyone thought that it may be because of the very major surgery she had gone through. Maybe some fibrosis is there or some blockage is there. So I took her to Delhi, and all the possible tests were carried out, but everything was all right. So doctors were unable to say that what is causing this severe pain, and such a severe pain that uh, she had to put on sedatives. So I decided to take her to psychiatrist. She opposed it, saying what this pain has to do with the psychiatrist. I said, let us consult. We consulted a psychiatrist in Dehradun. Vinit Gupta was his name, and he said that it may be because of trauma or stress she went through after accident, and he gave him medicines. In the meantime, we had gone to Rishikesh for river rafting, and all the time we were worried that any time her pain can start, and what it starts at when we are doing the rafting. So what will happen then? But fortunately, it did not happen like that. We finished the rafting, and when we were returning, we saw the poster of Shri Ravi Shankar ji. He was there in Rishikesh, so we decided to go to his house. Fortunately, he was sitting alone. I told him about her problem. He put his hand on her head and said that now it will not happen again. I don't know, it was because of her faith in Shri Ravi Shankar ji or because of medicines. It is almost 20 years and she did not have that pain again. So later on, Rajni ma'am can tell whether this unspecific pain was because of any psychiatric problem or faith healing can work in such cases. But that was my second experience with depression to my near or dear ones. My third experience was when my youngest brother, he started having bouts of crying. And when we will ask him that why he's crying, he was not able to tell anything. But he said that he just feel like crying. When I took him to the doctor, they said that maybe because of insecurity he is feeling that my father is retired, how my education will be completed. Maybe because of that he is having anxiety disorder and which is causing this crying bouts. So his medicines were started, and unfortunately, uh, their medicines are still on. And right now he is at the highest dose of antipsychotic drugs, but he is working in Saudi Arabia, and he is able to function. He is able to carry out his duty. He has two children, and he feels secure now, but still on highest dose of antipsychotic medicines. He tried several things, meditation, yoga, but nothing could stop his medicines. So now he has realized that he will have to live with it. He will have to take the medicines lifelong. At least he is functional. He is able to carry out his duty. And after that, another experience which I had was with my second sister. Her husband was in railways. They were happy family. But I saw the development of stress in her because my mother was staying with her that time, and it was very difficult to handle my mother when she was with us. We also had a lot of stress, and another cause of stress was expectations. She also felt like my mother that her son will qualify IIT in the first attempt, which did not happen. So she was talking all the time about it, that he was not serious about studies, that's why he could not qualify. And then final this breakdown took place when my brother-in-law decided to leave railway and join Air India as director, which was a better organization with better perks, better salary. But somehow she got the breaking point that time, and वो सुई अटक जाती है, जैसे उसकी सुई अटक गई कि अरे हमने तो अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार ली, अब मेरे बंगलो पियोन नहीं मिलेगा वहाँ पर, मुझे अब क्या होगा. And I knew that she is into depression. And when I asked him to take her to the doctor, she will say, no, 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 I am all right. I am only worried because we made a wrong choice about his career and all that. Finally, when her condition became very bad, she was unable to sleep, unable to eat, all the time walking here and there. I took her to the psychiatrist. She gave her medicines, but she was not regular with her medicines. Will leave some medicine sometime, will start some medicine on her own. So it took long time to recover, but finally after 6 months, thanks to the doctor who scolded her a lot, she came out of it. So by that time I had realized that for recovering from this thing, or for properly tackling it, you need medicines as well as attitude changing things like meditation and yoga and some other what should I say, other ways to feel positive. So, and somehow by that time, another life changing experience I had, that I had a subordinate with me who was very positive, not cribbing about anything. Whosoever came to him, he was ready to help him. So one day I asked, I knew about his past, that he struggled a lot during his younger days. His father was a postman, and he had about 8 or 9 siblings. So he was the only earning member. He had to carry out all the duties like marrying all the siblings, their study expenditure. So just for my curiosity, I asked him that tell me which was your best time in your life. He thought for some time and he told me very honestly that भगवान की दुआ से अभी तक तो सब ठीक चल रहा है. Now, आगे का पता नहीं, अभी तक तो सब ठीक चल रहा है. So that made me realize that it is just a mental state. Any other person in his place would have said that अरे साहब मेरी तो पूरी लाइफ ही खराब रही, अब जाके थोड़ा सा ठीक हुआ है. But he did not say things like that. So I realized that it is just mental state, but the issue is how to keep your mind to that state. And I realized that it is something genetic. You can't change your mind to that level, but something can work for you. By that time, I had started believing in my destiny. And believing in your destiny does not mean that you should stop making efforts for your life. Believing in destiny means to me that the things which are not in your control, you should leave it on your destiny. Like when there was a qualification test for UN peacekeeping force, I was very clear that it's okay. If I am selected, it's okay. If I'm not selected, then even then it is okay because my destiny may not want me to go there. And I gave the test with very free mind. There were more than 400 police officers from all over India, and just 20 or 22 were to be selected. And they have a very tough test for shooting and for driving and for English. And English test is something which everyone is afraid of because their pronouncement and everything is so different from us. But since I was very free, I was not worried about my selection. I came overall sixth, if I remember correctly. And people who were under a lot of pressure, they could not qualify. So, believing in destiny worked for me for last 20 years, and it can work for other too because it reduces.
I think, sir, you've got some technological problem. We can't hear you anymore. Ishan, sir? Yeah, I think he's going to log off and log in. Just wait for a minute. So, meanwhile, ma'am, maybe, you can just keep in mind some of the things which is spoken about. So, when we just come to you, maybe he's spoken a lot about the various triggers, the kinds of things that happened in the childhood, etc. So, maybe we can just have you speak on those. So, I'll just try and get him back online in a minute, ma'am.
Maybe somebody should call him.
Yeah, just one moment, please.
Now he's back.
Sir, can you hear us? Sir, you have to just unmute yourself. वो म्यूट बटन को दबा देंगे ठीक हो जाएगा.
Now, okay.
Yes, perfect, sir, perfect. Yes.
Achha. It
Please
was
welcome back.
disconnected.
I know, sir. टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ये सब होता रहता है.
So that was my experience with depression and my way to handle it right now. Yes, one more experience which is with me. A few years back, I started having this breathlessness, all the time feeling breathless. So I thought that it may be a problem with cardio because my age was past 60. I went to a cardiologist. All the tests were done. He said, your heart is as strong as of 25 years old, so no need to worry about that. He referred me to a this lung specialist. He carried out all the tests, lung related tests, that was also perfect. So physician told me that maybe you need antidepressant because everything is controlled by mind. So he put me on Nexido 10. So that has improved my breathlessness to a great deal. Now I'm feeling normal. So those were my experiences with depression. So see that symptoms may be different. In every case, symptom was different. But you need to consult a psychiatrist whether whatever is the symptom. And in every case, medicine did help. Uh, Mental attitude may or may not help, or yes.
So
So
thank you very much, sir. Yes, I'm sorry. Please continue.
yeah.
I thought you finished, sir.
So those were my experiences. Now Dr. Rajni can tell. Yeah, yes, I want to ask one thing that I still don't know, that how to distinguish between anxiety disorder and depression and panic attack, and in if it is situational anxiety or panic, can medicines like alprazolam help, or we will have to go to psychiatrist for antidepressant?
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
sir. You have shared your experiences in a very nice manner, and you have also, given a very detailed account of your experiences. And there are certain things which which I think are anybody would compliment with. Which the first of all is the candor which you have displayed, and secondly, you have displayed, to my mind, of course, the expert can always, shed more light. To my mind, you have displayed a very um, profound knowledge of yourself. Okay, and we often say that, we often read that depression or mental health issues happen to people who are more than average intelligent or are very intelligent. Usually, it does not happen to people who are not. So, in your case, a lot of these things have been self-diagnosed, not only for yourself but for people around you, people in the immediate family. So that is one thing. You have found your refuge in sports, trekking, mountaineering, adventure activities. And I was suddenly reminded of the movie Tare Zameen Par when I was hearing you talk. Different people are made for different things. I don't know. I think after hearing you and after reading your achievements, I think you were made for sports and policing and adventure. You are not made for other things. So finding where you belong is very important. So, and you have also been able to, you use the word break free. You use the word learn to defy. So you have been able to shape your own destiny, if I may. So these are certain things which, to me, it made this thing. And then it is often said that every psychiatric problem, the genesis is in the childhood or in the genes or some experience which happened. So the expert can, shed more light on that. You have noticed a lot of things you about father, you said sleeping all the time, extra sleep, less sleep. This is a very important sign to note. You said, about your younger brother, sister. It is to be noted that, I mean, to my mind, you are very intelligent in the sense that, despite the fact that there was no internet in those days, and you knew what time the antidepressant takes to get the effect. Today, everybody knows thanks to Google, but in those days, there was no Google. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. You knew about the hit and trial method. Like I said before, you self-diagnosed your problem on many occasions. You were never shy to seek help. So you also identified the triggers, the accident with your wife, the certain small issues or big issues in the family, argument with the colleague at the workplace, and you have highlighted the issue about panic attack. You have an excellent memory, the names of all doctors, the institutions, the medicines, the dosage, you know it all. Even after 50, 60, 70 years, you know it all, everything. And you have said that you have highlighted something which I think all of us, who know a little bit about mental health, say that, one should never start or stop or change medication without consulting the doctor. And a person can remain fully functional even though there is medication. So that is what in medical terms it is called management of a disorder. So it may not be cured, but it can be managed. So I think these are the points which I was able to cull out. Rajni ma'am, I would just, on the basis of sir's talk, I would just request you to, also answer his questions and also shed more light from the medical point of view.
Yeah. So thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to the whole team and special thanks to Ishan Pradeep sir. It's not easy to share whatever you have gone through for so many years, and you have both of you have already made my talk very easy. So I hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, loud and clear.
So, okay. So I always I find it difficult to speak low. It's low.
No, it's good. So anybody
that's
who's
my
in the
problem.
teaching profession or in the medical profession, generally the pitch is high.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So I think beautifully sir has narrated that we always say that first 1,000 days is very important, and he said that the childhood experiences are very very important. Yes, I totally agree with that, and there is science behind that. So to start even from the womb, mother's womb, it is very very important. The first 1,000 days is what we say, like that includes even the womb 9 months also. So that is why a lot of care is given to the mother's health while the mental health, mother's mental health, along with the mother's physical health also. Okay. If the mother, for example, is depressed, anxious, how much ever you give lot of, if you see in the government policies or also lot of stress is given for mother's physical health, and mother's mental health is kind of not so much in the forefront. So mother's mental health also should be taken care of. And as sir was narrating, like his mom was deciding everything for him until his engineering, and I think he later could somehow learned how to handle his mom, and he started his sports, and he went to his so really appreciate the way he has coped with the whole life. The very definition of mental health is know your strengths and weaknesses as per WHO, and then cope with the stressors of life, and then contribute something to the society. Everything is done, and sir is totally mentally healthy, and everything is narrated in his journey. Stressors, of course, none of us can be away from stressors in life. All of us go through various stress, and what is stress to me may not be stress to somebody else. For example, if somebody says that jump 4 steps, that is a big stress for me. What if I break my leg? What if I break something? Something like that. But if a boy, if I ask him to jump, he will just jump. So what we need to understand here is, we always use, very passing comment. Why is this lady so stressed out? Why is this man so stressed out? It is a small thing. Can't he handle? Can't she handle? So those things have to be avoided. And sir was telling that because the mom was deciding so many things, the personality of the person, like the children became docile, they became anxious, they were not so confident. So this is like a book description. A personality is different, illness is different. So the personality of a person blossoms with genes, genetic combination, whatever we get from parents, and then the childhood experiences, our teachers, our colleagues, our friends, our opportunities. So all these things, through this personality blossoms. And and he also mentioned that how parents should not do it, and how he went through a very tough time when he didn't get IIT in the first year. The mom was very critical, taunting, and really appreciate him how he went through all that. I don't know. So it must have been really tough. But what is very interesting is once he went to his engineering, it was like the bird is out of the cage, and he could figure out he was his strength was sports, and then he went into the police, and really appreciate that. Sir, I would want to answer your question here. What is depression? What is anxiety? What is panic disorder? So the depression is usually it is udasi ka problem hai. So more than 2 weeks, if somebody is pervasive sadness, it is not that my husband scolds me today or my boss scolds me today. Today I may be sad. Like that is normal reaction to any problem. But for some reason or without reason. So there may be a stress, there may not be a stress, right? So for some reason, if there is 2 weeks or more than that, you are pervasively sad. You are sad all the time, right? And then crying spells, decreased or increased appetite, decreased or increased sleep. As you rightly said that your dad was sleeping all the time and he was not interested in anything. And then the low mood, then no energy to work. For example, if you are bundle of energy before and one work if you do, you feel like taking rest. Let me take rest for some time. And then the negative thoughts. Whatever I do, nobody is going to appreciate me. So a lot of negative thoughts. Worthlessness, no point in living. Helplessness, I can't do this, I can't do that. So and then the suicidal thoughts. So all these need not be there in a typical depressive episode. The people who are depressed, like children and adolescents, they can't express that they are sad. So they may be irritable also. They may stop going to the school. They may stop eating. They may be very irritable, defiant. A lot of other. So it may not present like a description what I told, but the predominant thing will be pervasive sad mood, negative thoughts, suicidal ideas. Disturbance in the biological. Things like sleep, appetite, and all. This is kind of depression, wherein it fits. So the anxiety disorder, here in the forefront you have a lot of anxiety for everything, like getting up in the morning, getting ready, going to work, doing work. So a lot of anxiety is there, and lot of your heart rate is more, your BP may be more, heart kaapta hai, and some uneasiness in the stomach, and you are not at peace. You are always edgy. So that is kind of an anxiety disorder. Here also you have biological disturbances like sleep, appetite, you're not able to concentrate, you're not able to focus. So these things will be there. So in depression, the forefront is the mood, like low mood, crying, these things. In the anxiety disorders, you're always anxious, you're hyperactive, your tremors, all that. So panic attack is part of anxiety disorder. Panic attack is a sudden, surge of heartbeat. Like people say that, doctor, I feel as if my heart is coming out, to my hands. And then it is sudden and it peaks for about few minutes and gradually it comes down. So during a panic attack, there can be severe tremors of the hand, uneasiness in the stomach, and you feel as if you're going crazy or you're going to die the next moment. That's why many people who experience panic attack, they rush to hospitals. They think that they're going through heart attack, cardiac arrest, and they go through, echo, various things. I had this patient who used to get panic attacks in the night because of the sleep disturbance. She would rush to the hospital every time to a cardiologist. Then, after near echo, everything was done. Almost they had spent 1.5 lakhs. So finally the patient came to me, and because of these repeated panic attacks, and whenever she goes to cardiologists and hospitals, they would say that you don't have anything. So nobody was recognizing that, she has an anxiety disorder or panic attack. So finally a neurologist found out that she is anxious, she is going through panic attack and it's not cardiac problem, and he referred her to me. So literally because of the secondary depression. So what I want to tell is anxiety disorder can lead into depression, and depressive disorders can lead into anxiety, and it can overlap also. It need not be like black and white, like diabetes, hypertension and all. So this is what it is. So literally the husband carried her the first day, in his hands when she came. So to tell you, within 2 to 3 weeks she was perfect, and the children were telling, we thought that mother is kind of, done and dead. She's not going to recover. So stress can cause various things. When I was in prison, actually a person was, experiencing paralysis down the diaphragm. Both his limbs, he was not able to walk. That was, the simple amitriptyline and escitalopram cured him. So he was telling like, doctor, aap to mantar kiya hai. So he had come to Bangalore jail from other jails. So stress usually it causes neurochemical disturbances in the brain, that is serotonin depletion, dopamine increase, and various disturbances. So that can lead to various problems. So I don't know whether, are you clear, sir, what is depression, anxiety, and panic disorder? So you're on mute, sir. Yeah. And one good thing what I could figure out from sir is the early diagnosis. He could take his father very early to psychiatrist, and he figured out that he's not improving, and went to another psychiatrist in AIMS, and the proper diagnosis was made. So for a simple anxiety disorder, initially it was made as schizophrenia, and he was not improving. So right diagnosis, early diagnosis. And the sisters, example, sir was telling that there was a delay in reaching to the doctor, and doctor was scolding. I would, we usually don't scold them, that we would be happy that if the client at least come. So I think the only answer to all these things is more and more we need to talk about all these mental health issues. So we teach, children that, from childhood itself, this is a switchboard, don't put your finger, you will get a shock, and whenever there is a problem, we don't teach them that how do you share with somebody, what should you do. For example, somebody becomes suicidal, what should you do? Nobody knows, right? And if somebody calls you telling that I'm going to attempt suicide today, what should you do? So we don't know how to respond, we don't know what to do. So both are important. So I usually say that I always give this example, a police officer who just called me on a Sunday like 7-8 years back, and she said like, doctor, I'm going to kill two of my kids and I'm going to hang today. So I said, okay, fine. So you hold on. Why don't you come to my clinic today? And 11 o'clock she came in uniform, and she narrated all her problems. She was telling, job I have no problem, but I feel my professor husband is not supporting, my mother-in-law is not supporting. She had a lot of negative thoughts. She was in postpartum period. 8-month-old baby was there. Another child was around 3.5 years. So she said, it is too much for me to handle, and I am going to decide. So then I gave her 20 milligrams of escitalopram, and she had shared all that. And to my surprise, next day evening I had asked her to come. She says, doctor, my husband is fine, my mother-in-law is fine, and the whole world is looking colorful to me. The description of black dog. So I never expected that in a day. No, as you rightly said, our psychiatric medicines take 4 to 6 weeks to, start improving, to get a significant result. But to my surprise, whatever we have read in the book, she was describing. The same husband is fine today, the same mother-in-law. Nobody changed. The negative thoughts because of depression, so that had really made her to think negatively. And she was telling like, doctor, if you had told that Sunday I'm not available, today I would have killed, both my kids, and I would have hanged myself. So the right help at the right time, and I usually tell people that if you get a suicidal thought, at least call 3 people. Why 3 people? Maybe one person may say, I'm busy, I'm in a meeting, and that, this, and all. Maybe we should stop telling busy. So whenever some call comes, we should respond to them. I will call you back, you are important to me, something like that. Why the second person may say, don't talk nonsense, why should you die, something like that. At least the third person, by then you would figure out some solution to your stressors. So what is very important is, yes, parenting is very important, childhood is very important, and how do we come out of problems, how we have be assertive, like sir figured out to by the age of 20. We have to be assertive but not aggressive. Early identification of our own issues, early seeking of help, and continued medication. आप पूछ रहे थे सर whether it is faith healing or medicine. So दवा दुआ दोनों भी चाहिए. So to give you an example, we do this Dawa Dua program across the state in Karnataka. Like in one of the dargahs, lot of, there is a belief that chronic mentally ill, if they leave them in the dargah, they'll be cured. So like this, lot of human rights violation, everything was happening, and they get God, they get devil on them and all. Whoever is on stress. So we went and sensitized the faith healers there across the state, various temples and dargahs. So they said, doctor, your healing has not worked, and that's why people are coming here. Why are you coming and troubling in dargah also? Then we said, ab dua de rahe hain without dawa, and we are giving dawa without dua. It's like buy one get one. So then they were initially reluctant, but later now they're very cooperative. Our team, they go to Dargah, and every Wednesday they treat up to 80 to 100 people there. And the faith healers, they themselves, they refer inside the Dargah itself. So like, dono bhi chahiye. And if I have trust in God, yes, we should go and pray God also. But for example, sir, if you have diabetes, like 400 sugar, if you ask me if I just go pray God, do meditation, do yoga, will it be enough? No, it is not enough. Both are supplementary and complementary to each other. So let them do whatever yoga, meditation, praying to God, but take medicine also. So do both so that you have a better effect. Yeah.
So thank you very much,
one
ma'am.
question,
Yeah. Yes, please, sir, please.
To Dr. Rajni. In fact, I asked that question because last year or 2 years back, my daughter who was working in Hyderabad, when I talked to her, I felt that she is under a lot of stress and having some issues. So I asked her to come to Delhi to spend some time with us. She came, and I realized that she is going through a lot of stress. She was unable to sleep and very restless, all the time talking. So I knew that she is having issues. So I took her to the psychiatrist. She prescribed her few medicines. Then she said that following up from Delhi will be difficult. So she gave name of one very senior psychiatrist at Hyderabad, and he prescribed 3 4 medicines to her. Slowly she was feeling better, but all the time she was thinking that it was just anxiety attack, and she could have handled it with time. So many medicines were not required, and she stopped the medicine on her own. Again it relapsed. So my point is that if it is just anxiety attack due to some situational issue, can it be handled with alprazolam or some medicine like that, which can reduce the anxiety, or you are supposed to take antidepressant prescribed by the psychiatrist?
Okay. Sir, it is like, you are putting water to the root or leaf. So if you put taking anxiety during the panic attack, it is like watering the leaf. Like the leaf will be alive for 2 3 days or whatever it is, 1 week. And by watering the root, it is like, you are flourishing the whole tree. So taking escitalopram is like watering the root. The root, the basic problem is serotonin reduction. So by taking escitalopram or venlafaxine or various other antidepressants, the serotonin level, that is specific serotonin reuptake inhibitor, the serotonin level also comes to a balance. Like clonazepam, alprazolam, these are the instant drugs, right? So during that time, during a panic attack, on top of escitalopram, you can, take mouth dissolving clonazepam or Angsit we usually don't prescribe, sir. because it is a short acting benzodiazepine. So we usually go for clonazepam, which is a long acting benzodiazepine. So it is always better whenever you have a depressive episode or anxiety episode to take medication adequate dosage for about 9 months and then taper and stop under the supervision of doctor. So that would be better. If you suddenly stop, like with for about 2 to 3 weeks, you may
Yeah,
feel
what's the
better.
DDSM?
I'm sorry, Hemashri ma'am, I think
Anxiety pen.
you have just lost your screen. Sorry about that, ma'am. This is
No
sometimes
issues.
happens. Yeah, please.
No problem. So that is the answer, sir. So better to taper that and stop instead of stopping it suddenly. But 30% of the people, sir, first episode depression, first episode anxiety, and even the first episode psychosis and schizophrenia, early identification and treatment, 30% of them, they get cured completely within a year, and it may not relapse. But 30% of the people, they may require for a longer time of medication, like 2 years, 5 years, or sometimes lifelong, and another 30% only, like in schizophrenia and the severe mental disorders, we need medication for lifelong. So if you have early diagnosis and adequate treatment for adequate period, so the chances of relapse and having a very quality life is very good.
Thank you.
Chance of relapse is very less. I think somebody has shared the.
Yeah, I am just messaged to by
That's fine.
mistake and probably is not
we can
aware.
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else having any questions? You can just pose it either in the chat box or you
They can
just
ask. I think we
yeah,
we
you can
have
ask.
many.
You can just simply yeah. So whatever way you're comfortable. Anybody who has any questions for either Rajni ma'am or Ishan sir.
So are you on medication now also, sir?
I'm taking Nexito 10 mg.
Fine.
So doctor said that you can continue with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No issue.
2 years.
So I think nobody has questions.
So excellent, ma'am. I think then yes, someone Lisa.
I think, Parikshit, Himashri, ma'am, she has joined us just very recently. I think she was busy somewhere because I have been posting this about this session
Correct,
for a very
correct.
long time. So anyway, she is very close to Sir Ishan Pradeep sir. So she may have some question for him, or he may have some question for her. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I think Himashri wants to talk to you. If she can, if she wants to, she can. Yeah. She's there.
She's come.
there.
She's come.
Yeah. She can unmute. Yeah. Yes.
Himashri ma'am, you can unmute and talk, ma'am. Yeah, she's there.
अभी हो गया मैम you had unmuted. You can again you just press the button on the phone which says that the mic button is there.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, by mistake it was muted. Actually, while trying to listen, by mistake it got the switch got operated. I'm so
No
sorry.
problem. No problem at all. Please
Okay.
go ahead, ma'am.
Ma'am, they are requesting you to talk.
Please carry on the talk. By mistake, it got pressed.
Oh,
No,
I thought you
please.
had a question. You had a question, I thought, ma'am.
I think Ishan sir has got anything to talk. Then you will please
I talk
speak.
to him quite frequently, so
Okay,
no
fair
question.
enough.
Okay.
So then I think we are clear. So I would just like to thank all our joinees today. I would like to thank Rajni ma'am, Ishan sir, and Lisa ma'am, and all our joinees today. And thank you very much for an excellent session. And we look forward to another such event next month. And wishing you all a very happy Diwali and a very happy festive season. Thank you.
Thank you,
Happy
everyone.
Diwali to you, all of you.
Happy
Thank you,
Diwali
ma'am.
to everyone. Yes.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Happy Diwali, everyone.
Yes,